You want to protect your business and make more money? Welcome to Learn from a Lawyer, the podcast where legal protection meets smart strategy and your next level of income is built on a rock-solid foundation. I'm your host, Lauren Buckner, attorney, business strategist, and guide for women entrepreneurs ready to scale smarter and build lasting success. Let's get started. What if I told you that most business owners are losing money simply because they don't have a budget or a tax strategy? Today, we are breaking down the real money moves that protect your profit, and I am joined by someone that I trust deeply to help my own clients do just that. Today, I'm joined by Annette Campbell. She is a CPA, a CFO, and the owner of The Tax Experience. She's been in accounting and tax in this world for, I think, almost a decade, and she brings clarity and confidence to business owners who are tired, of guessing when it comes to their money. And we're all here to make money, right? But nobody wants to guess when that money's coming or what we're going to do with that money. So Annette has been a key partner in our Learn from a Lawyer events and our programs, and she's been helping our clients create budgets. She's helping our clients create clarity and understand tax strategy and actually keep more of what they earn. And we all want to keep more money, right? So let's go ahead and welcome Annette to our show. Annette, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Lauren.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to have you on the episode here today because, listen, we are here to make money. Here at Learn from a Lawyer, I'm trying to help business owners consistently pay themselves from their business, meaning the business has to be making money, has to be cash flowing, which means we need to understand our numbers. When I talk about numbers with business owners, honestly, their eyes just close, they get glazed, they get sad, they get depressed because nobody wants to talk about numbers even though we're in business to make money, which is weird to me, right? So I want you to talk to us today about all things budget and tax strategy. But before we do that, tell the people who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing this.
Yes, I'm super excited to be here today. I've been in probably 17 years now, right? Been in the industry, tax and accounting industry for a long time. I truly love what I do. I have my own tax and accounting firm. It's called The Tax Experience, where we really specialize in tax strategy because we know that coaches, consultants, service providers, and our real estate investors and agents really, as they are making more money, right? They need to understand the tax code. They need to understand these tax strategies to stop overpaying the IRS.
Exactly.
Right. So I truly love numbers and just I love what I do. I have been able to grow my company. I started full time in 2020, got laid off from the pandemic and launched into business full time. And we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary this year, actually, as a matter of fact, and just been doing some amazing things in the industry. So
that is amazing. Listen, I love it. You said almost, so it's almost 2 decades then, right? I was wrong. I said 10 years. All right, almost 20 years. It's crazy to think that you've been doing something that long, right?
I know. It's
Wow.
so crazy because time flies.
Oh, it definitely flies. Listen, and when I'm working with business owners, time really flies, especially when we talk about money. One of the biggest gaps that I see actually, though, when I'm working with business owners, especially women, I don't know why that is this idea that money will just figure itself out. But it doesn't. You cannot build a sustainable, scalable business without structure around your money. You agree, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so that's exactly why we're talking today about budgets. We're talking about tax strategy, smart financial planning today, because it's not just about what you make. It is about what you keep, right?
Yes.
What you keep. So I really want Annette to start here to talk about budgets, right? What is a budget? And why is having a business budget one of the most important CEO moves that a woman can make?
I love that you brought up budgets, right? I always joke about this all the time. I'm like, have you heard of the word budget? Like I ask my business owners, I'm like, have you guys heard of the word budget? Because even when you think about it, what does, like, you think of budgets when you think about personal finance,
Right.
right? You should be introduced to it from a personal perspective. And what you don't address in your personal finance, it transfers over into your business, right? So if you're not budgeting from a personal finance perspective, more than likely you're probably are struggling on the business owner side, which hurts a lot of business owners, right? But anyways, a budget. That's one of the very first things that we curate for our business clients because it is very important. Like, you need to be able to understand, okay, what are expecting for income? What are the expenses? What's going to be left over? Like, you cannot operate your business blind, right?
Yeah,
So you need to budget. Like, all the money that's coming through your bank account is not yours to do whatever you want with it,
that
right?
part.
And a lot of businesses, they end up overspending. They because they're not paying attention or actually utilizing their budget and sticking to it, right? Because we can make a budget, but if you're not sticking to it, it really does not matter, right? Budgets help you hire, they help you pay yourself, they help you understand just so many different things in relation to actually operating and running your company. So that's like I said, that's one of the first things that we actually do with our clients when they're coming to work with us, right? So a lot of them, they will come like, hey, Annette, we need help with our bookkeeping, we need help with our taxes. But I'm like, do you have a budget?
Mm,
Because one of the main questions is like, I want to pay myself more. That's like one of the, I'm sure a lot of business owners,
right.
they want to pay themselves, right? They want to pay themselves if they're not paying themselves, or they want to pay themselves more if they already are paying themselves. The only way that we can really understand that is we need to understand the budget, right?
Yeah.
We need to understand what you need personally, right? And we need to make sure that we incorporate that inside your business budget so we know how to pay yourself. So that's one of the first things that prompts us to actually make a business budget. But you need a business budget. Like, you can't just spend, you're not setting aside money for taxes, right? You're not paying estimated quarterly tax payments. You're not, it's just so many different things that can fall to the wayside from an expense, a, from expense category that will make you overspend and not really utilize your budget to the fullest capability.
Okay. So, I mean, it was a whole lot that you just said there, and everything is important. What I was hearing you say is, I can't really grow a business without a budget.
Yeah.
Because you said hiring, operations, tracking money. So, if you're trying to grow the business, you have to have the budget. Now, if I say budget to some people, they don't understand what it is. So, if you had to give a definition of a budget to a business owner, what would that be?
It would be the ins and outs of your business, right? It's showing you what's coming in and it's showing you exactly what's going out, right?
Okay.
So it is the categorization of all your expenses, right? Your rent, your utilities, your advertising, your legal and accounting costs, right? It's literally giving you an idea of like, this is what it takes to operate my business, and this is the dollar amount that's attached to it. This is, hey, this is what my revenue is. This is what I'm expected to bring in. Like, that is literally the definition of a budget. Is literally breaking down every type of expense that you have with the income that you are expected to bring in.
Okay. So,
And
the,
then it tells you what's left over, right? Either you're going to be in the negative or you're going to be in the red, right? So most business owners, they kind of utilize their budget by looking at their profit and loss statement, right?
okay.
So they kind of can see the budget is like projection,
Hmm.
but the profit and loss is like, this is what's actually being spent, right? So some business owners, they're like, oh, we're going to skip out on the budget and we're just going to utilize the profit and loss. But you need both.
Right.
You need both of these statements to be able to help you.
Right. Yeah, because the profit and loss is too late now, right? This is
Right.
this is after the fact. This is actually what you do have left or what you really did make, and the budget helps you to stay on track, and then hopefully to have a positive profit and loss statement. Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. All right. This is good. This is so good. So what I'm hearing is you've got to track the numbers. You cannot put your head down in the sand. You cannot just close your eyes when it comes to the numbers and just hope that, it all works out, because that's just a dream and you're going to wake up and then it will be a nightmare.
Yes.
Okay. So we're budgeting. I heard you talk about different, accounts and places we need to have our money. You said tax account. So let's talk about taxes, because I think business owners forget that we also have to pay taxes, and we forget to have that account to set that money aside. When you get money, like I tell my clients, we literally have, like, they have to have the 6 bank accounts set up. um, every time income comes in, every dollar gets allocated. Boom, boom, boom. You only
Mhm.
spend what's in that operation account, whatever. They have a tax account. a lot of people don't have a tax account as far as a banking account. They don't understand the importance of it. And they don't understand that that's a tax strategy.
Yeah,
So everything in business is a strategy, a
absolutely.
plan. So I want you to get us smart really quickly on tax strategies. Like, let's get into tax strategy. What is a tax strategy? Because there's a lot of business owners who don't know. They leave a lot of money on the table, right?
Yes.
Or they spend a lot of money, right? And what does tax strategy actually mean, and how does it help our businesses? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love strategy, right? So tax strategy is so important, right? We're in the month of July right now, right? And we just crossed that 6 month mark,
Right.
right? And this is like the perfect time. Like I've been talking about tax strategy a lot because you need to a lot of people, they when you think about taxes, people just think about that January,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh my gosh, it's January, it's tax season. And it's literally too late because at that point, like you have already did what you did that year. And now the IRS, Uncle Sam has his hand out, like, hey, what do you owe me? And I'm expecting payment, right?
Hmm.
So tax strategy, pretty much from the IRS regulation, they pretty much have curated these strategies and these deductions for business owners. They're like, hey, I want you to go out into the economy. I want you to create jobs. I want you to create income, right? And in return, I'm going to give you these deductions and strategies, right? So that's why it's so important, number one, to utilize your budget. And the second most important thing is bookkeeping. How
Okay.
many of you guys are doing bookkeeping, right? Business owners, you must do bookkeeping, right? You need to be tracking your income and expenses on a month to month basis. That is also helping us with the strategies, right? So we can see like, hey, did you take this write off? Did you take this deduction, right? How much is your projected tax liability that we can possibly versus you wait until January and we're now seeing like, hey, you owe $10,000. We could have been like, hey, is there expenses that you might need? Is there equipment that you might need? Is it a coaching program that you actually need to invest in? Is there a property that you could possibly build? Is it a vehicle that you can actually buy, right? With these different tax strategies that have been given, right? So tax strategy is so important. You need to be doing that. At least I would love for business owners to be talking to whoever is on their money team at least 4 times a year. At minimum, when it comes to tax strategy, you probably should be having that conversation monthly
Mm.
in relation to your numbers, bookkeeping, and things of that nature. But tax strategy should be at least having at least quarterly. You should be having that conversation, really looking at, okay, how much did I make this quarter? What was my profit or what was my loss? Are there any deductions, any strategies that we can utilize based on what happened in that quarter to help them maximize, right? Because like we said earlier, we don't want to overpay the IRS.
Right.
Like my biggest, like that's my tagline. Like we guarantee like you're never gonna overpay the IRS again. The IRS is paid between 15 to 25% over every year, which turns into billions of dollars that the IRS is being overpaid, right? And they have created the tax code. They're like, hey, we have given you the
The
advantage.
blueprint. We
We're
told
giving
you.
you the blueprint, but if you do not have someone who is being able to dissect, I always tell people I'm like the tax nerd because I'm dissecting that.
Yeah.
I'm dissecting these 77,000 pages to make sure that my clients, that they are well equipped to understand how they can utilize what's already been given to them to take advantage of it, right? We don't do tax evasion. We don't do tax avoidance, right? Like
Right.
we don't literally do anything illegal because you guys got to be careful. There are people that out here that be trying to do some stuff. And the tax code, there's laws and there's the strategies in on the IRS publication that breaks down literally every
Mhm.
single strategy and every single deduction that's applicable that you can apply for your business. I tell business owners all the time the tax code was made for business owners and investors. I know we all remember when we were working the 9 to 5 that I felt like I was just working to pay taxes.
Right?
I just felt like so now that we're on the other
Yeah.
side, we're on the business owner and investor side, we have to understand these laws and these regulations that was actually put in place to help us win. I know sometimes, a lot of business owners like not they have their own feelings like I'm paying IRS, I don't want to pay taxes, whatever the case may be. But we need to understand these. We need to be able to understand these strategies. We need to be able to make sure that we're paying attention to our finances, that we're actually doing bookkeeping, that we're utilizing the people, the experts in these areas to be able to help make sure that we are not overpaying the IRS. We have been able to save companies $70 million in
Mm.
taxes through strategy, right? Through understanding the deductions and these write-offs and all the, like, literally it's so, the tax code is so, it's so much to dive deep into, but
Yeah.
we have been able to do that because we understand how that this has been created to help business owners win, right? We don't want to take our profits, our hard-earned
Yeah.
money, and just pay it to the IRS. We want to be able to put that money back into our companies to grow, to scale, to hire, to expand, to buy businesses, to sell, whatever that may look like, right? We want to be able to make sure that we are working so hard. We are working so hard in our companies and our businesses to build these things, all the goals and the things that we have set out when we started to become an entrepreneur, to miss the boat when it comes to taxes. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And
Makes
it's
none.
so frustrating to me because I'm just like, no, you guys, like we have to get it right. We have to take advantage of what has been given to us with this tax code.
So you're saying tax strategy. What is a tax strategy? Like, give me one tax strategy that you give to your clients.
So let's talk about S corporation because
Oh,
I
let's
feel
talk
like
about it.
that's like a big one that I feel like that is a strategy that I feel like a lot of business owners have been hearing on social media,
Mhm.
right? I'm like, hey,
Oh,
switch
yeah.
your business to an S corporation, right?
Girl, people reach out to me and say, "Can you form an S corp for me?" And I say, "No, I can't." And they're like, "Why?" Excuse me. And they were like, "Why? Aren't you a business attorney?" I'm like, "Yes, but a S corp is not a business entity." I'm like, "You don't form a S corp. You create an LLC or a corporation and then you convert." So I'm glad, and it's only for tax classification. It has nothing to do with the way your business is registered. So I'm so glad that you're here to talk about it because it bleeds into the business side all the time. And I'm like, that's a tax strategy. It has nothing to do with your business entity structure. So let's talk about what a S Corp is and what it ain't.
Yes, I love how you said that because it's an election. You are electing to be treated as an S corporation, which, like you said, it is a tax strategy. So that is a strategy that we do utilize for companies. But the one thing that they are not telling you, when it comes to S corporation, number one, you got to file taxes earlier.
A month earlier,
You're
right?
a month earlier. So your taxes are due March 15th versus April 15th,
Okay.
right? You have to be on payroll. The owner has to be on payroll.
What does that mean on payroll? I'm just gonna break in here because you only because you're an expert and someone at home is like, well, what's a payroll? So what is a payroll?
So on payroll, that means that you as the owner, you are paying yourself, you're paying employment taxes, you paying
Mhm.
state tax. You are now in a new arena, right? You are probably, you can use payroll processors, Gusto, there's ADP, there's Paychecks, there's so many of those out there. You're not just taking your owner's withdrawals that most people are used to as an LLC, and just transfer money from your business bank account to your personal bank account. No, you are now paying yourself. You are now going to get a W-2 at the end of the year saying that the company has paid you as as an owner, quote unquote, an employee in a sense, right? So that can be a salary, or that can be, you could be paying bi-weekly, semi-monthly, however you may wish as an owner. So that's one thing that they don't tell you, that you have to do that because the IRS, they actually look at line 7 on the tax return. And if they don't see wages from officers, right, they can automatically just push that tax return through as an audit.
Mm.
So that's one thing. Taxes are due a month earlier. You have to be on payroll. And let me also clarify this. You, as an LLC owner, you can't be on payroll for yourself.
Okay.
You can pay your staff. I mean, you can, but you really shouldn't because you should be moving to an S corporation
Mhm.
to be able to pay yourself, right? So that's one of the major differences. Like as owners of companies, like you should be an S corporation if you're paying yourself. You can only pay yourself as LLC, and it can be state specific, right?
Okay.
Um, Also, it does, right, as a shareholder, because you now become a shareholder, right? You can walk into um your dealerships and you can get things a little bit more easier in the business name as an S corporation too as well. But
Mm.
those are like those are some big things that when they're telling, yes, you can save between 15 to 25% in taxes, but they are not telling you all the other things that you have to do as a requirements,
Yeah.
right? Of this new election that you are electing your company to be.
Oh, that is big. And I know that that is probably hitting a lot of you all hard right now because you're like, I've been paying myself, from the owner's draw, which is good that you're paying yourself like separately and you're not commingling, right? Keeping personal and business together. But maybe you should have already elected that S Corp classification. And maybe the reason you haven't done it is because you're not working with the right person or the right expert. And so I want to ask really quickly before we go to the next topic, when we're talking about tax strategies, a lot of times when I'm talking to new clients that come in and I say, whenever we talk about numbers, I'm saying, I want you to also talk to, your CPA about this. They're like, oh, well, I'll call my tax preparer.
Mm.
I'm like, well, not all tax preparers are certified, are CPAs, right? And they're like, well, what do you mean? Well, what's the difference? They help me with my taxes every year. So wouldn't they be able to like help me with tax strategies and help me with my budget? And I say, no, not necessarily. And so I think a lot of times that's the only tax expert that business owners encounter. And a tax preparer isn't always going to tell you, right, that you need to elect to, be treated as a S corp or other things like that, right? So
Correct.
can you tell us like briefly what is the difference between just a tax preparer and a certified what does a CPA stand for?
Certified public accountant.
Public accountant, right? A CPA versus just a regular accountant as well, because I know not all accountants are CPAs.
Right, exactly. So that's why I always say like a money team,
Money
because
team.
you will have multiple people, right? Like everybody has a specific area of expertise or a focus level, right? So sometimes, like you said, it kind of depends on the person. Like you said, the tax preparer, if you're just going to a person who is just punching in your numbers at the end of the year, they're not offering you any strategy. They're not even telling you if you owe and why you owe.
Mm.
You probably need to reach out to someone who actually specialize in tax strategy, right? Some accounting, so like we're obviously a tax and accounting firm, right? So we are that one-stop shop where we're going to be able to help you with all things, right? We're going to help you with your budgeting. We're going to help you with your bookkeeping. We're going to help you process your taxes. We're going to help you with tax strategy. But everybody is not they are not set up that way,
Mhm.
right? Some people might have just bookkeepers. We have clients who just like, hey, I love my bookkeeper. They do a really great job, but we need you on the strategy side, right? So it just kind of depends on what that person does. A lot of people, it just kind of depends, like, on who do you have and what they're actually doing for your company. But you need if you need help with your strategy,
Mhm.
like point blank, period. Like if that person is not helping you with strategy, you're probably overpaying the IRS.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Oh, you guys. I told you, she's going to get us right on the money. I mean, and let me just tell you, if you're at home right now and you are experiencing a little anxiety,
Hmm.
it's okay because now you're aware of what's working, what's not working, and what you need to do. So I'm hoping that you're taking notes and that you are ready to make some changes because we don't want to be working super hard for our money, losing our money or do something where we're going to get audited and then we are, penalized by the IRS. So we want to always be moving in the spirit of excellence. So thank you so much for breaking that down. I know there's all types of tax strategies that you could give us, but people need to pay to get that right. And that's the other thing you heard her say, a money team, which means that when you are creating your strategy for your business, and we get to that section where we identify the professional players that we need to help our businesses grow, you need to have a money team. I heard you say a bookkeeper. I heard you say an accountant, a tax preparer possibly, and a tax strategist. So maybe you have 4 different roles on the team. Maybe you have a couple people who do 2 different things, right? But you should be prepared to have a few people on your payroll that you're going to pay that are going to help you protect your money. You agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, it just that kind of depends. You might not need all of those people because a lot of people they be like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta hire all these people,"
Yeah.
right? And it might feel overwhelming. They're like, "Oh, I don't have that in the budget." But I would definitely say just definitely take your time, like look and ask people, like when you're interviewing, right? Like maybe that might be a CPA, it might and sometimes CPAs don't specialize in strategy, tax strategy and law, right? So it kind of just depends. You just need to ask that person, like, hey, what do you specialize in? What is your focus level? And then you
Mhm.
can make a decision from there.
Got you. Okay, so I do want to get to the next topic, but I have one more question about this. Only, and this is all coming from things I'm experiencing right now with clients, right? So I'm like, let me just take advantage of this time. So let's just say a business has been working, they've been trying to do their own bookkeeping, which I know a lot of businesses are like, look, I'm gonna do it myself, which it could work, right? But they're at this point now, they're hearing this episode, they're like, you know what? I need to have an expert. How do they get their books in shape now? Like it's July, and let's just say, hopefully last year taxes were filed, but maybe they weren't because some people have extensions. We know that, right?
Right.
So maybe they're still trying to work on 2024, but we're in 2025 and they want to get right. What would be the first step right now with that halfway point in the year to get their books together, try to get profit and loss statements for each month or each quarter? Like what do we do now to make up for lost time?
I love that you asked me that question because right now, what you need to be doing, all business owners, what they should be doing is that they should be doing a cleanup. So, a cleanup pretty much means that you haven't done your bookkeeping for a few months or so. Maybe that could be 6 months, that can be a year, right? Depending on where you are, you might need multiple years cleaned up, but we need to be doing a cleanup. So, that means that we're going to be going back, we're going to be getting all the numbers caught up and organized for those months, right? So we can have a clear view of like, okay, this is what you made this year thus far. These are the expenses that you had thus far. This is what your profit is. This is what your loss is. This is what your projected tax liability is. And just different areas, right? Maybe we need to, it will uncover areas that we still need to work on too as well, right? Depending on the goals that was set in January.
Mhm.
So that's the first thing. We need to be doing a cleanup. So that means you need to be organizing. You need to, number one, you should have an accounting software, right? That could be
Which is
QuickBooks.
okay.
I love QuickBooks. Sometimes I love QuickBooks. You know how technology is,
Yes.
right? So QuickBooks is the most well-known accounting software. A lot of business owners are aware of QuickBooks. There's different softwares. There's Wave. There's so many different other softwares out there. You need a software. A lot of business owners think that, oh yeah, I am doing bookkeeping, and they think their software is Stripe and Square and
Oh,
PayPal. That's not bookkeeping. A lot of business owners think, oh, I'm doing bookkeeping, depending on what level you are in. But that's not bookkeeping. That's just how you accepting your money from your clients or your customers, right? So that's step one. You need an accounting software that's going to actually track, okay, what is the income coming in? What are you making from your services or your products? And then, okay, what was the expenses? So you need to see it in a full picture, not just, oh, I made, $11,000 today, or I made
right.
$11,000 this week from your payment processor. No, we need to understand, okay, you brung that in. What was the expenses for that month as
Yeah.
well, right? So a lot of business owners get confused on what is actually bookkeeping, right? So number one, you need your accounting software. Once you get your accounting software, you need to organize, right? So you need to be figuring out, okay, how much income are you making and what are your expenses, right? So that means taking time out to categorize, right? Like, okay, maybe you had Canva, you're organizing that as an office subscription, right? Whatever those monthly expenses are,
Mhm.
right? We have so many of them, right?
Yeah. So many.
So you need to be categorizing those transactions, and then reconciliation, which means that you are cross-referencing those transactions versus your bank account,
Okay.
pulling your bank statement.
Mhm.
So that's what business owners should be doing right now. You need to get the bookkeeping in order,
Okay.
because when you get your bookkeeping in order, it's telling you, okay, what is that projected tax liability? That's where tax strategy comes into play, right?
Mhm.
We would know, okay, this is how much you made. This is what you are profiting. What is going to be the taxes on that profit, right? And what can we utilize? What kind of strategies can we put in place right now that we can begin to implement to make sure that you pay less than that when we get to the end of the year? So that's one of the biggest things. Most business owners are overpaying the IRS because they are not doing good bookkeeping.
Mhm.
Most business owners are not scaling and growing to the capacity that they can because they're not doing bookkeeping. That is the heart of your business.
The heart.
The heart. If you neglect the heart of your business, what happens?
It dies.
It dies. So we can no longer neglect the heart of our businesses. Right. And I always talk about it is stewardship. I love the Lord, y'all. So stewardship. You have to be a good steward. Like, God has given us these businesses to steward over, right? So that means he needs to be able to trust you with the resources that he is giving you to be able to manage them properly. How could we want more, right? A lot of business owners, we want to grow, we want to expand, we want to make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
How can the Lord give you millions of dollars or give you all these clients when you're not going to manage it correctly? It's going to go to waste. It's going to be spent. It's going to, there's no plan. There's no strategy. There's no structure. So in this season, we have to get our finances in order to be able to do these amazing big things that we have been called to do.
Oh my goodness. Like, you've got to get the finances in order to do all of the great things that you have been called to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, seriously. Right? Okay, listen. I mean, because we go down a whole nother route there. I was like, okay. So listen, like I said, so someone's realizing, they're listening to this right now, they realize I am winging it. So they need probably a bookkeeper first, they can clean up the books for them. Does a bookkeeper also do a profit and loss statement for them?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And so they should be getting one of those every month, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So right now, like if you're like, listen, I've been winging it. I have no budget. I have no strategy, right? She's going to tell us right now 2 to 3 practical steps so that they're not overwhelmed, because we know that when you're overwhelmed, you do nothing. Now, she's given us a lot of different strategies, but 2 to 3 practical steps that somebody who is winging it can do this week to get on track, like this week, right now, because on this show, we like to take action immediately. We do not just take the information in, right? I'm here to give you access to the information, access to the experts. It is up to you as the CEO of your business to take action. You are responsible for your business. I always tell you that, and I mean it, but I'm responsible for giving you the information. So this week, because we're taking action this week, what are 2 to 3 practical? And I say practical because, there are lofty things we could do, but practical, people have limited time, maybe even limited resources.
For sure. So I would say number 1, you need to get an accounting software. Like if you don't have one, you need to get one.
Okay.
So that could be QuickBooks. I was just talking about this yesterday. I even have my bookkeeping bundle, which I have curated with small business owners in mind, where it's an Excel spreadsheet, but it automatically calculates and curates that profit and loss. Some business owners, they might not want to invest, but I know we're talking to the next level of business owners on this podcast. So I know you guys will have no problem with investing into an accounting software, but to each his own, right? So you need accounting software. You need to organize your income and expenses. And then you need to look at your profit and loss. Pull that profit and loss statement to really see. As you are organizing, that goes back to step 2, make sure that you're gathering your receipts, right? Receipts. You must be gathering your receipts and keeping hold of your receipts. A lot of people ask me like, hey, Annette, how long should we keep our receipts? 6 years. So take a picture of them and put them on your computer, right? Store them in a way, because we know receipts fade, right? They're gonna fade after a while. So you want to make sure that you are collecting those receipts and you're sitting down. I told business owners it should only take you probably like an hour and a half max to do your bookkeeping.
What, a day or a week?
A month.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
month.
Yes, on a month. It's not going to take you that long.
So we don't do bookkeeping on a weekly basis.
You can.
Okay.
You can. So it depends on the business owner, right? You can take even 30 minutes. So if you want to do it on a weekly basis, 30 minutes, categorize your transactions.
In the software?
Yes.
Okay.
Every week.
All right. So just go through, because everything's going to register in the software, right? I have QuickBooks as well. So it's everything that I use my card for or on my bank account, it all goes in there and I can see everything. So you're saying like once a week, we should go into that software, look at it, put everything in a category, make sure we have a receipt for everything.
Yes.
Right? What about the receipts that we get? Everybody shops online, right? Or we have contractors and you pay them, they send you a receipt via email. How do you get those receipts in your system? And I know that it may seem like a simple question, but
Yeah, no. So, you can actually QuickBooks has like an email that you can specifically email directly, and it will attach to your specific QuickBooks, or you can take a picture and you can upload it. So, as the transaction, you can click on the transaction, and it'll allow you to take a picture of it, and it is store that specific receipt with that transaction.
okay, all right. Okay, so we can take care of that question because I know someone's like, all my receipts come through an email. I can't print them out. So you can email them or you could take a screenshot,
Yes.
right? And then you can upload it, right? Perfect. Okay, so that was two, that was three or four different things you could do this week. So what I want to ask you is what are you going to do today that's different than what you did yesterday when it comes to your money? When we talk about building successful businesses, it means that you have a strategy, a system. And when we say strategy, for clarification, we're just saying a plan. It's a very fancy word for a plan. You've been doing strategies your entire life. You have a strategy for everything that you do in your life, most likely, but for your business. Think about that. You have a strategy for how you wake up. You wash your hair. You wash your face first. You brush your teeth. Maybe you go have your coffee. That's your morning strategy, right? You have your strategy as to how you drive to work, which roads you go, where you're going to park. You have a strategy on how you're going to pick your clothes, a plan. That's what a strategy is. So let's ask yourself, if I have a strategy for how I'm going to get up and wash my face, make my coffee, right? Check my social media, why would I not have a strategy for how to track and protect my money? You probably can't answer that, right? You should have a strategy for that. It is the most important. It is the heart. You just heard the budget, the money, the tax strategies, the heart of our business. Without it, the business dies. And that is true. And so many of you all need experts. You need access to things. And you always say, but Lauren, I don't have enough money. And then I say, well, what's your budget for it? And then you say, I don't have a budget for it. Boom. And that is why your business is not working because you have not put all of the effort into the business to protect the income so that it's not trickling out. And it prevents you're preventing the cash flow from growing. With all that in awry, that no wonder your businesses are like crumbling. And I know I'm being kind of like, crude today, but I have to be because when we talk about money, it's real. And I think a lot of times people will talk about business and it's all the fluff. It's
Yeah.
all the marketing, it's all the branding, it's all the pretty things. The boring part, the legal and the financial, are the pieces that people avoid,
Yes.
but not here because we're moving in the spirit of excellence. And I need you to be serious because it really is the purpose of this show for you to build a business that is paying you consistently. So we
Absolutely.
got to do the work. All right. So I want you to reflect and I want you to really think about what you're going to do differently. So if you are building that business without a budget or a tax plan, you're not building a business. I'm just going to tell you. You're building a job, maybe even just a project that's absolutely going to drain you. Absolutely. So ask yourself today, self, do I have a system for my money? Ask yourself right now. Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Do you have a system for your money? Right? Or am I just hoping it all works out? Drop it in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it because listen, you deserve better. You deserve better. And if you start shifting things today, listening to what Annette has told us, 2 to 3 practical steps you can take this week, you can see a change in your business, but you have to take action. You already know it. You have to take action. You have to know your numbers. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. And I'm going to tell you now, the reason I asked her to give us 2 to 3 practical steps for this week is because what you'll do, I already know, is you're going to say, I'll wait till next month. Because for some reason, people
Yeah.
like to do everything at the top of a month or the next month. It's never now. Oh, I'll do that next week. No, this week. I'm saying you need to do it now. We cannot procrastinate. We
Right.
cannot. This weekend, we were together and I said to people in the room, procrastination kills profits. And
Ooh,
it does. Procrastination kills profits. If
that's
you're
a word.
Okay, if you're trying to have a profitable business, you must take action now. All right. So, listen, Annette, I want to thank you for being here. It has been such a pleasure to have you. I could talk to you all day. We totally need to do a
I
series
know.
about like taxes, budgeting, how it aligns with all the things that businesses want to do. And that's why we're talking about it because you come in with all these desires for your business, but we can't build a business off of dreams and desires. We have to build it really off of money. right?
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
and that's why businesses are not growing
Right. And there's so much to uncover. Like we will be here all
all
day.
day.
Like there's so many things, years of knowledge that we try to squeeze into a short period amount of time. So people have to, if you want the business that of your dreams,
Mhm.
then you literally have to invest into yourself. Like you literally have to invest into the help, into the knowledge, into the experts that can help take you to the next level. So it was such a pleasure having me here today.
Yeah, it was. Listen, how can people find you and how can they work with you? And here's the thing. Yes, I'm putting my stamp of approval on this one right here, okay? Because I know that when it comes to money, we have to be working with people that we trust.
Yes.
Like that is essential. So I trust her. I trust her. All right. And I want you to tell the people how they can find you, how they can work with you, how they can book a call, and we'll put everything in the show notes as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so you guys can definitely find me on Facebook at Annette Campbell, on Instagram at _success with Annette or the tax experience. And feel free to book a call. We have free discovery calls right now. Just a 15-minute call to really figure out what you need and then kind of guide you in the next direction. So visit us online at thetaxexperience.com. Join our email list because we drop gems weekly. We give emails 3 times a week on everything that I talked about today to continue to help give you guys the support that you need.
Listen, if you have been trying to understand your money, if you are just trying to figure out how to make it, now is the time to tap in. Annette has all of these resources. She has some free resources. She has some resources that you're going to have to invest in, but the investment will help you make 10x what you're making now, right? So get to it. I want to make sure when I talk to Annette later, I want her to say, "Oh my God, we had so many people contact us. They want to get a call. They need a strategy session." And then I know that you are listening and you are following directions. All right. So listen, that is all we have for today. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you like this episode. And most importantly, make sure that you share this episode with your business bestie. Do not be a gatekeeper. Do not show up at brunch next weekend and say, "I learned all of this." No, show up at brunch next weekend and everyone's talking about the same things that everybody learned. The business besties need to share the resources. Okay. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'll talk to you again pretty soon.